Hi, everyone, and welcome to English Flow Studio, the show where we explore how confidence and rhythm shape your English voice. I'm Ryan, and today we're diving into our very first theme, the input-output gap, why you can understand so much, but freeze when you speak. Okay, so let's dive into something I think pretty much everyone learning a language runs into. You, the listener, maybe you can read like really dense academic papers, maybe follow a whole movie without subtitles. You understand every single word in a tough business meeting, but then the second you try to actually speak, you just freeze.
Right.
A split second where everything you know just evaporates, your mind goes totally blank, and that silence is just incredibly frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm Emma, your co-host here at English Flow Studio. It's probably the #1 struggle, isn't it? And a lot of language coaches have a great term for it, the input-output gap.
Hmm.
And the key thing is you're not experiencing some kind of failure. It's simply, well, it's a disconnect between two very different skills. Understanding English, that's the input. The material describes it as like collecting energy.
Electing energy, like
But speaking, the output, that's about actively using and directing that energy.
okay. So just because I've spent ages training my ears, my input system, I can't just expect my mouth and my voice to suddenly, run a marathon without specific training.
Exactly that. The really crucial insight here is that those pathways, the ones between what you know passively in your head and actually producing the sound, they have to be actively trained, strengthened. And that's completely separate from just recognizing the language.
That makes total sense. So, okay, our mission for this deep dive is to really pull out the practical stuff, the psychological insights from these sources
Yeah,
to help bridge that gap. And the focus seems to be really on comfort, rhythm, and this idea that feeling safe is way more important than being perfect.
definitely. Let's start with why we freeze. What's fascinating is how physical this is. Speaking a new language, it involves so much coordination, your breath, the tiny muscles in your tongue, your posture, even your heart rate.
Wow. Yeah.
And when your body picks up on tension or fear, whether it's real or just perceived, its natural reaction is to kind of inhibit movement. And in this context, that means the voice literally shrinks.
And usually that tension isn't about a real danger, is it? Experts describe this as a deep, almost automatic fear response. The brain actually mistakes normal conversations for danger. Ordering a coffee, asking a simple question at work, it treats them like danger.
Yeah, because it registers the unfamiliarity of actually making the sounds as a potential threat. And this is where we should probably touch on a bit of brain science, specifically the amygdala.
Ah, the almond-shaped bit.
That's the one. It's like your built-in panic button. It sounds the alarm based on really primal instinct. So when you hesitate for that split second before asking for directions, that's not just you being shy.
Right.
That's this ancient system firing off. It doesn't know the difference between a real physical threat and just, the slight weirdness of forming an English sentence you haven't said 100 times. It just tells the body, hold on, this feels new, stay quiet. And that triggers a kind of low-level fight or flight thing.
Which results in that silence.
Yeah.
That frustrating freeze.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a huge realization. We're literally having a mini flight response. So if fear is the root problem, how do we actually deal with it? Because we all know just relax is the worst advice ever.
It really is. You can't just tell instinct to shut up using logic, right?
Yeah.
That's why some teachers talk about this really helpful idea called language therapy. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's simply to teach your brain a new story. This story that speaking English, even with mistakes, is fundamentally safe.
So the big mindset shift isn't fighting the fear, it's softening it, accepting it. The material suggests seeing that hesitation, that fear, almost like a protector that's trying to help, but maybe overdoing it a bit.
Precisely. Instead of getting mad at your brain for freezing up, you kind of acknowledge it. You say to that protective part, okay, thanks for trying to keep me safe, and then you make a conscious choice to speak anyway.
That sounds much more doable. It addresses the fear at its source.
Yes, and there's a simple exercise many learners use that really proves this works. It's called the safety loop. It's basically repetition, but designed specifically to pair the sound of your own voice with a feeling of calm.
Okay, how does that work?
The idea is that this conscious repetition gets your prefrontal cortex, your rational thinking part, to gently override the amygdala's alarm signal.
Ah, right. So you repeat simple phrases like, I can speak, or maybe my message matters more than my mistakes.
Exactly those kinds of lines. You're actively creating a new memory, building evidence that this sound your voice speaking English equals safety. That repetition literally starts to rewire the nervous system. It proves to your body, little by little, that speaking isn't dangerous, and that feeling of safety is the bedrock for fluency.
Okay, foundation of safety first. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So once we start feeling a bit safer, how do we move towards actual flow?
Right, so we shift from fear to the mechanics. And the research really emphasizes that fluency is much more about comfort and rhythm than perfect grammar.
Comfort and rhythm. I like that. And people often talk about the music of English, right?
They do. Like any language, English has its own kind of melody, rises and falls, beats, pauses, and just practicing matching that rhythm, even with super simple lines like, "Good morning, I'm making coffee," or "I'm getting ready for work," saying them out loud, that alone can make your speech feel way smoother, even if the words themselves are basic.
Interesting. So rhythm helps the flow.
Yes, and that focus on rhythm connects really well to the next piece, which is about the structure you need to keep a conversation going. And that's where connectors come in.
Connectors, you mean like those small linking words?
Exactly, little functional words first, then after that, because, so actually, to be honest, those kinds of things.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this right, they're like the little bridges between your thoughts,
Yeah.
the bits that hold the conversation together and keep you moving.
Perfectly put. They maintain what many teachers call conversational momentum. And here's the key insight. If your connectors are solid, you can actually hold a pretty decent conversation for, say, a whole minute, using only very simple vocabulary.
Really, just simple words.
Yeah. And that is functional fluency. It's about the flow, not about being flawless. It's keeping the conversation moving that really matters to the person listening.
Okay, that's encouraging. But what happens when the flow, well, when it stops?
Yeah.
Because you forget a word, which happens all the time.
Right, inevitable. The go-to strategy here is paraphrasing, which just means explaining the idea using simpler words. I once heard a great phrase for it, turning textbook English into human English.
Human English, I like that.
Think about it, right? You might be desperately trying to remember the word, I don't know, sophisticated to describe a restaurant, and you get stuck for like 30 seconds.
Yep, been there.
Instead, you train yourself to immediately switch gears and just explain it simply. Like, instead of struggling for, "The restaurant ambiance was remarkably sophisticated," you just say.
The restaurant felt really nice.
Exactly. And why is that simple version often better?
Well, it keeps you talking, for one.
Yes, and crucially, it lets your mind relax a bit. Searching for that perfect fancy word makes your voice tense up, it hides your personality. Saying "really nice" might be simple, but it lets your genuine feeling, your vocal energy come through. Sounding like you is way more engaging than sounding impressive.
That's a great point. Authenticity over complexity. Okay, so let's get really practical. What are some immediate tools people can use to just lessen that initial panic, especially when you have to start the conversation?
Yeah, the initiation is often the hardest part. There's this brilliant concept called Lego lines that a lot of language teachers love to use.
Lego lines.
Like building blocks.
Exactly like building blocks. Think of them as small, reliable, pre-made phrases for those common situations that tend to trigger anxiety work stuff, social chats, ordering things. They're basically pre-prepared little confidence shortcuts.
Okay, give us some examples. What would a Lego line look like?
Sure, so for a work meeting, maybe something like, "I have a quick thought on that," or "Could we circle back to that point later?" Simple, standard phrases.
Boom.
Socially, maybe just a reliable opener like, "How's your week going?" or "Tell me more about that." And in a shop or restaurant, having a smooth practice line like, "Could I have the check, please?" ready to go means you don't face that blank moment.
Right, you've got something ready.
Yeah, having these little reliable phrases just builds small wins. And those small wins build trust in your own ability to actually speak when you need to.
That functional approach feels really important because, as the research points out, often the hardest part is the first sound. Sure. We tend to mix up knowing about a language, the knowledge, with actually being able to use it, the skill.
That's a critical distinction. Speaking is a physical skill, like running or playing guitar. It needs actual training, not just reading theory. The simple truth is 5 minutes of gentle speaking beats an hour of silent study, because the speaking part is training that output muscle.
Right. You have to actually do it.
You have to do it. And since doing it consistently is the secret sauce, There's also a really practical framework people use called the Bailey Fluency Loop. It's designed to be calm, realistic, something you can genuinely fit into your day, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes. And it focuses on moving info from just recognizing it to actually producing it.
Okay, let's break down those steps. What does the loop involve?
Okay, 5 steps. Step 1, listen. And choose something you actually enjoy. Pleasure is key here, not difficulty. If it's boring, your brain just won't retain it.
Makes sense. Step 2.
Step 2, retell. Close your eyes and just say out loud the main idea of what you just heard. Use your own simple words. Even if it's just 1 or 2 messy sentences, that act moves the information from passive into your active memory.
Okay, listen, retell. What's next?
Step 3, shadow. Pick 2 or 3 lines from what you listened to and just repeat them out loud. Try to copy the rhythm, the intonation, the tone. This is pure imitation. It trains your timing and pronunciation without you having to think about grammar rules at all.
I like that. Imitation. Step 4.
Step 4, personalize. Connect what you heard to your own life. Say something like, oh, that story reminds me of, or in my situation, I think. This makes the language stick because you're linking it to your own emotions and experiences.
Deepens the memory trace.
Yeah.
Got it. And the last step.
Finally, step 5, record. Just speak for about 60 seconds about your next 24 hours. Your plans, how you're feeling, a small goal. The key here isn't necessarily listening back, although you can. The simple act of recording creates solid proof. Undeniable evidence that you are a speaker. It replaces vague motivation with concrete action.
Listen, retell, shadow, personalize, record. That structure feels really achievable and totally reinforces that main message we've seen all through this material. It's consistency, not trying to be perfect. That unlocks fluency. Perfectionism actually blocks fluency because it makes you wait until you feel ready.
Exactly. But the only way to learn conversation is just to have conversations, even small ones, even with yourself initially.
So let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways for you, the listener, to hold on to from today?
Okay, I think there are 3 big truths we've learned from all of this.
Go for it. First,
First, understanding way more than you can speak is completely normal. Remember, your brain handles input and output differently, so don't beat yourself up about that gap.
okay, that's reassuring.
Second, output requires intention. You actually have to choose to speak, even just a little, every day. 5 minutes of gentle practice trains the right pathway.
Intentional output. Got it. And third,
Courage over perfection. This shift is everything. Your message, who you are, getting your idea across, that matters so much more than tiny grammar mistakes.
courage beats perfection. Love that.
And maybe the final thought to leave people with, connecting all this, confidence isn't something that just shows up one day before you start speaking. It's built brick by brick through the action of speaking, through that gentle, consistent repetition.
So speaking isn't the prize you get at the end of learning.
No. It's how you learn. It's the process itself. Fluency isn't some race you have to win. The source material had this beautiful line. It's a friendship you build with your voice.
A friendship you build with your voice. That's lovely.
So the encouragement is just take one small action today. Start building that friendship.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of English Flow Studio. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow and share it with someone who's also finding their English voice. We'll be back soon with more reflections, stories, and small steps to help you feel more confident speaking English. I'm Ryan, and I'll see you in the next episode.
And I'm Emma. Thanks for joining us here at English Flow Studio, where your voice learns to flow.